What's on your mind? Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop. What do you think?
Oh, I don't know what I think here today. I think it's pouring down rain right over here at the radio station. I've just texted John Cooper over there at Frank's Car Wash to see what's going to happen on the Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, because I don't think they're going to be washing any cars today. So that just cued me when I played that commercial. I was just like, okay, so what are we going to do here today? But we'll hopefully, before we get off the air, we'll have some information for you on that. All right, so we've got lots to talk about here this morning. I think, I was talking a little bit about Trump going to Alaska tomorrow. I guess that is still on. Yesterday, President Trump was announcing the honorees for the Met that was just fabulous. George Strait, Sylvester Stallone, Gloria Gaynor. I'm telling you, they had quite a list. I think the not hilarious, but kind of funny, is that he said in his speech yesterday that they are bringing this facility back to its glory, yada yada, going on, and it's got good bones, but we need to do more to make it more beautiful, and was going on about it, and then he said it's going to be. Donald Trump is going to leave when he leaves office. The United States is going to be a showplace again. That is for sure. If they can get our airports up to speed, that would be truly amazing. I know that Sean Duffy is working on that, but what he is doing to bring back some beauty and not making everything look so tired and run down is amazing. And I think one of the other things, the taxpayers are not paying for this. I mean, I think there was some money put aside to do some things, but they're raising money left and right to make our country beautiful again. So, you got to give Donald Trump his due, regardless of how you feel about him. President Donald Trump, you've got to give him his due for having a vision. It's just like taking on Washington, D.C., He's right. Who should want to come to our capital, the Washington, D.C., whether it's to do business with Congress, to see a president, or just see what is happening in this city? Who should have to deal with all the things that people have had to deal with? And it was just taken, well, that's the way it is. I heard that... at one of the main station where you come in on the train, on the subway there, that they had to turn off the fountain because so many people were encamped there and were taking a bath in the fountains. How horrible. So when you think about our capital, when you think about the United States of America, yes, we want to be proud of what we have here. So I for one, am glad that they're getting this job done. I think it'll be interesting to see how long it's actually going to take. Is that, they've got the National Guard in there for 30 days. Everybody is saying, of course, they'll have to be there longer. But I think that's one of the questions. How long will it take to actually change the culture of Washington, D.C. Change the culture, I mean, by what people had, quote, gotten used to. All right, so but what I was going to tell you is that the big event where they honor all these stars and everything, it is President Donald Trump says, oh, and they've asked me to host the event. And he says, are you sure I'm the president? And then they said, oh, sir, people will want to see you. So according to him, Susie Wiles is the one that says, just do it, just do it. So he is going to be hosting the gala event there at the Met. I don't know when is it, December, January, I don't know when it is. But those events are always very special. But he says they're going to have a complete redo, and he is hosting the event. So I don't know of many people today that fall in the parlance of Donald Trump. And I mean men with vision, men or women with vision and the ability to carry it out. Men or women who just say, this is an opportunity and we're going to take it and just follow it through. There were a lot of that business type back in the 60s, the 50s, the 50s, 60s, 70s. We had a lot of titans that were here. Actually, you could take it back to the 30s and the 40s. Great businessmen who went out and did great things. And somewhere along the way, we just gave up, became cowards, didn't think things were possible, didn't dream big enough. And that is part of the problem. That is part of the problem. We did not dream big enough. And so that is what our country needs. It needs people that are willing to dream and then have the cojones to go get the job done. That's what we need. All right, I'm Ann Eller. This is WCRS. That's just a little aside about what's happening in Washington, D.C. Now, back here in South Carolina, two stories. One story that is, I think, just hilarious is the fact that, where is it here? I think is just hysterical is they get this Democratic candidate, McLeod, the lawyer from down there in Charleston, the one who went out there and what did he do? Jumped, was on the battery in his underwear, right? And just was going crazy, yelling, screaming, said he didn't want to be called John Doe. He'd take Superman or something like that. They got him in the police car because he wouldn't give them his name. They got him in the police car. He was yelling explicitives and just being horrific. They got him down there to the jail, and there are pictures everywhere of this guy in his underwear sitting in the back of a police car. I don't know if there's any other pictures, but there certainly is. The South Carolina Democrats call on Charleston lawyer to suspend campaign for governor following the arrest video. Well, you wanted outlandish people. You got outlandish people, Democrats. And we've got one right here, I guess, in South Carolina. So this is Mullins McLeod. There's a picture going viral all over the internet. It is the backseat of a police cruiser following his May 14th, 2025. That's right, this year, folks, arrest for disorderly conduct in downtown Charleston. After reviewing the video, the state Democratic Party called on McLeod to suspend his campaign. The chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party is calling on Mullins McLeod to discontinue his campaign for governor and focus on his mental health after his nearly 35-minute profanity-laden rant in the back of a police cruiser became public. It is clear that Mr. McLeod is navigating profound challenges and should focus on his mental and emotional well-being instead of a campaign for governor, said State Democratic Party Chairwoman Christelle Spain. Her plea came hours after the Post and Courier first reported on the dash cam video, and 2 days after McLeod became the first Democrat to enter the 2026 governor's race. It appears McLeod is not heeding Spain's advice, and with his campaign manager telling the South Carolina Daily Gazette he won't go away. Everything is straight ahead, said his Democratic strategist, Kerry Cranford. He declined to address McLeod's mental health. So, and McLeod did not respond to messages left by many media sources. So there you go. Just thought you would like to know the Democrats have done it again. Now they have the embarrassment of I don't know why they're embarrassed. They seem to like saying all these four-letter explicitives and everything. So what sounds like it would be a candidate just like they would like. At least on the far, far left. I mean, we do not know this condition, and it does appear to be sad. He has said in his campaign release something to the effect that will come out, and it is not what it appears to be. Well, I'm sorry if you're parading around. Oh, he also said he wasn't in his underwear. You actually heard this first right here on WCRS. We had that just a little while ago. I think it was Wednesday or something. This is somebody just sent me a South Carolina chair statement on the release of the dash cam. Mullins McLeod is a skilled attorney, a former county Democratic Party chair who worked tirelessly for our values and a member of our proud Low Country family with a long tradition of public service. After reviewing the transcript of the dash cam footage from his recent arrest, it is clear that Mr. McLeod is navigating profound challenges and should focus on his mental and emotional well-being instead of a campaign for governor. We offer him compassion and pray he finds the support he needs. Well, right now, I do not know. Right now, as of late last night, McLeod was staying in the race. So that's what he says. There's been no response from him on that. We'll have to see what happens next on that. But there's nothing like South Carolina jumping in and giving the Democratic Party the support that it needs with a candidate that appears a lot like what we got going on in the Democratic Party, particularly on the national level, when we just look at, what's her name, Crockett, and AOC, and some of the others, and the words that are coming out of their mouths. They have to bleep it all the time. It's hard to figure out what they're talking about. It's a sad state of affairs. As I was talking about yesterday, we need two parties. We need two parties for balance. But we don't need a party that's so far out in left field that they can't even make it into the ball field to have a discussion. So I think it is sad. It is sad. In long run, it's going to, while Republicans seem to be so excited about the fact that the Democratic Party is imploding, I think one should realize that with two parties, with having a little bit of balance on both sides, that's where you get the best negotiated things happening. When one party has all the power, just like we've seen with the Democrats, and Republicans seem to think that they are the only ones that can govern now, I maintain that when we have some balance, some back and forth, and come to negotiated deals, we come up with a better bills, better laws, better ways of doing things. Because you know what? It takes all parties to come to the table and give their opinions. Then it takes shifting it out and coming up with answers. So that's just my personal opinion. Whether it's in the State House here in South Carolina, whether it's on the national level, of course, I would rather see a more conservative government. Absolutely. But you got to remember, the Democratic Party of old was not this Democratic Party that was so socialist leaning. And the people that they supported, they seem to have forgotten that group of people or the people that supported them, they have forgotten the working class man. And so that is why we're seeing such an insurgence in the Republican Party, because people are looking for the place. They have seen what Donald Trump has done just in 6 months, and they say, this is the party for me. That is great, but if the Democratic Party does not pull back some and become a moderate party, we are going to see. I know my Republican friends would think I'm totally off base on that, but we will see things that aren't as good as they could be. That if we had some negotiation. Just my point of view. It takes all people sitting at the table to try to make this, just like a libertarian view, just like a Democratic view, just like a Republican view, party to represent the people of our country. And isn't that what it's about, representing the people of our country? There are those that are more liberal. But they shouldn't, in my opinion. I mean, heck, you can be anywhere you want. That's the beauty of our country. But if you're going to be involved in the process, you need to come to the table with some reasonable views. That's just my opinion. Because, I'm exhaustipated. When you're so tired, you just don't give a crap anymore. I'm exhaustipated about all this. Yes. All right. What else do we have here this morning? We have some other good stories I wanted to share with you. Let's see. Oh, where is my mouse? Where is it? I got it sitting on something. No wonder I can't find it. I wanted to share with you a couple of other things this morning. This is, what's this story over here? Oh, my God. Now, this has nothing to do with anything. It just shows the extremes that people will go to. And this is why I say we don't need extremism. We need people coming together as one. But this has nothing to do with politics. Widow has late husband's tattoo cut from his corpse, framed as a cool tribute. It does so much more. It's so much more than a picture. This is a true story. I'm telling you. It's from the New York Post. And you can go, well, okay, and it's not. No, it is. It is. Instead of wearing her heart on her sleeve, she got her husband's sleeve framed. When Angela Radvisky lost her spouse unexpectedly earlier this year, the West Virginia nurse and mother of one made a bold decision that has stunned millions online. She preserved and framed a piece of his tattooed skin. It goes on and talks about their relationship and everything. And then in March, after TJ died suddenly at age 55, Angela didn't want a traditional keepsake. Instead, she wanted to frame her husband's skin to show off her son's favorite tattoo. And it's now a viral TikTok video out there. Of the more than 70 tats TJ, her husband, had inked over his body, they chose to preserve his Pittsburgh Steelers helmet design, complete with skull imagery and finished off in his beloved team's black and gold colors. It was his first sleeve tattoo and a favorite of his and their son's. Preston said the one who ultimately, that's their son, made the choice. After the funeral, Angeli had used a marker to outline the exact tattoo they wanted to preserve on his right arm. A mortician then carefully removed the skin, placed it in a special preservation kit provided by the Ohio-based company Save My Ink Forever, and set it off before TJ's body was cremated. The preservation process took around 90 days. When the company returned the frame tattoo encased in a glass and set in a dark wooden frame, the moment was overwhelming. That's right. They kept his skin from the tattoo. They said you can tell that it is his skin, his actual skin, that you can see the hair in it, wrinkles in the skin, but it is his skin, that they skinned the man's tattoo off of him before they cremated his body. She has had more than 30 million TikTok views of this. Unbelievable. What do you think about this? 864-229-7984, 864-229-7984. It says, viewers have been divided. While many expressed admiration and support, others compared her decision to something out of horror story, even comparing her to serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. But Angelina isn't fazed. That's the lady whose husband died. Just because it's not what you want, you don't have to make me feel bad about it, she told People magazine. We feel him here a lot, spiritually and energetically, she continued. But this is the piece that we really, really needed. When we want to know he's here, we can hold the frame, and it does so much more than a picture. Oh, my God. I can't believe this. The widow also hopes her story helps others plan for the unthinkable. Without life insurance, her family faced immense financial pressure after his passing. Now she uses her platform to advocate for open conversations about death and end-of-life wishes. Instead of planning for a wedding for a year, why don't we start planning and making it normal and not so ugly to talk about death, she suggested. You can be prepared, both financially and what you want for your body. Oh, my God. What do you think? 864-229-7984. That's 864-229-7984. Have I said something that has horrified you so much that you cannot... I repeat that you cannot even take this and think about it? It is horrific. I agree. Well, somebody just said that's a nut job. God. I can't imagine. I mean, I got to be truthful. I can't imagine that a mortician, if you said, I want a piece of his skin, cut out this tattoo, outline it in a magic marker or whatever, this is what I want, that they would actually do this. I mean, I don't know if there's any laws or anything, but I can't imagine they would actually do it. Can you? Ugh. Somebody else just said, well, Ann, you said different strokes for different folks. You got it. That's true. That's true. I have said that, but I just thought that story might just set your teeth on edge. Certainly would give you something to talk about at work today. Did you hear the story about? Yes, that's right. If you're going to lunch today, maybe you want to use that as a topic of conversation and see what your friends say as you're having Chinese food today. What do you think? 864-229-7984. Somebody just sent me a horror picture. Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, anyways, that's a story for you. So there you go. All right. Well, let's talk about a couple of other things here. Everywhere you turn, people are just going nuts. Maybe this is just an evolution of the nuts factor that is happening. I mean, who would even come up with the idea? Let's cut the tattoo off your skin and we'll preserve it and we'll have it forever. Who even came up with that idea? Supposedly her son and she came up with it together. But has anybody else ever heard of this? Oh my God, it's disgusting. All right, I'm Ann Eller. You know, I bring you all the stories you want to know and all the stories you don't want to know. All right, I do have a couple other stories here. I was going to try to get out and go over there this morning for the unveiling at Piedmont Tech, but with the rain and everything, I think I will not go. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about here today, August 14th. Today is National Creamsicle Day, National Navajo Code Talkers Day. But the thing I really wanted to talk about, was some of the events, memorable events for August 14th. In 1862, President Lincoln receives the first group of Black Americans to ever meet with a U.S. president, 1862. In 1909, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home of the Indy 500, holds its first motorized competition. It was motorcycle races. That was back in 1909. And, of course, that's the home of the Indy 500. Happens every year in Memorial Day weekend. In 1935, President Roosevelt signs the Social Security Act. These are all big things that happened on this date, August 14th. The 1945, the Japan Empire surrenders to the Allies, ending the World War II. VJ, they call it VJ Day. So you probably see more about that, but that happened on this date in 1945. In 1959, the American Football League is founded. And in 1966, the first U.S. lunar orbiter begins orbiting Moon. And in 1974, Congress authorizes U.S. citizens to own gold. Did you know before 1974, technically you weren't supposed to own gold? I know we were on the gold standard, into the 60s, and somewhere in the 60s we went off the gold standard. But you weren't able to own gold money, like gold coins, gold bars, this type of thing. Of course you could own gold jewelry. Come on now. Of course you could own that. But that was 1974. So when I was looking over this, I just thought some of these points were very, very interesting. The very fact that President Lincoln received the first group of black Americans to ever meet with a U.S. president. I thought that was most interesting. Social Security started back in 1935. And look what we've done to it. We've almost bankrupted. And I mean, because, you know why? Because they kept borrowing money from that very lucrative account. And that is the problem with politics. Everybody wants to put their hands in the pot. That's what I have to say. President Roosevelt signs the Social Security. Okay, 1945, the Japan Empire surrenders to the Allies, ending World War II. VJ Day was 1945, August 14th. So I just thought some of these were pretty darn interesting. Thought I'd share that with you this morning. What else did I want to tell you? The event that was going on that we were talking about yesterday afternoon, the Hodges program that I talked about that I thought was so cool, has been canceled for tonight. This was the Hodges Honey Jam concert. If you look at the weather, I don't know, maybe the weather was influential, but then we got this announcement. Hodges Elementary Honey Jam, scheduled for today, has been canceled. The new date is to be announced. Please stay tuned for further announcements. So I'm not sure why they had to cancel it, whether they anticipated the weather or whatever, but I was looking forward to going to that. Also, tomorrow night, Aiden Webb will be performing at the Fiddle and Bow up there in Honeypath. He is a great talent. You may remember he was on the air with us back in July, what was it, July 8th, maybe 7th. It was before we started doing all the Blues Cruise. We did a special Monday show. And that was, well, there's June. Where's July? July, Aiden Webb. That was on July 7th. You can go back and watch that interview right there on WCRS 1450 AM.net. All of our interviews, all of the shows are right there on WCRS. All right, so what else we got going on here? I did want to share one more story, which I'm kind of horrified about, actually. I don't know if you've heard about this. I saw it last night on Facebook. John McCravey was all over this one. Representative John McCravey just very upset about it. But let's just touch on this story because it is a story that I just don't understand why, with the way everything is going, why this was put out this way. But South Carolina school must let transgender teen use boys' bathroom, federal court says. This came out yesterday late afternoon. This is down in Moncks Corner. A transgender Berkeley County teen must be allowed to use restrooms in public schools that align with the student's gender identity, according to a federal court order issued a day before classes began. The August 12th order temporarily prohibits South Carolina school officials, the key word, I guess, is temporarily, prohibits South Carolina school officials from enforcing a state rule against the student that requires people to use school restrooms that are consistent with their sex as assigned at birth. The student, known in the court documents as John Doe, sued local and state school officials in November after being punished for using the boys' bathroom in a Berkeley County school. The student's parents removed him from school after they said their son, whose bathroom visits came to be monitored by school officials, risked additional punishment for using the boys' bathroom under a state rule. This rule, which was enacted in July 2024 as an ongoing budget proviso and not through legislation. Here's the problem. Why would they even do this? Here, we the people of South Carolina believe that we have handled the not using the appropriate bathrooms and everything. And now we find out the rule, which was enacted back in July of 2024 as an ongoing budget proviso and not through legislation, is part of the South Carolina budget that directs state officials on how to use money allocated by the state legislature. Under the rule, the legislature could withhold 25% of a school district's state funding if the district did not enforce a ban denying transgender students the right to use a bathroom or locker consistent with their gender identity. This, to me, was a simple fix. Why didn't they just make it a law? As a budget proviso, all they're saying is that we're going to not give you the money that you have asked for or we've approved if you allow this to happen. Well, now the federal government is coming in and saying, not so fast, South Carolina. You didn't make it a law. It's only a budget proviso. And so we're going to say you can't do that. So it is temporarily enjoined. How do you feel about that? And that would, I believe, would affect the state. Lawyers for the Berkeley County teen and his co-plaintiff, Alliance for Full Acceptance, celebrated the court's temporary, and they keep outlining this, temporary decision and continue to argue in a statement that the South Carolina school bathroom rules are improper and should be nullified entirely. South Carolina's school bathroom ban is illegal, plain and simple, said Alexandria Brodsky, a lawyer who represented the teen through the advocacy group Open Justice. We are so thrilled that our client will be able to start high school this week without state-mandated discrimination. For its part, the Berkeley School District released a statement August 13th that acknowledged the ruling. This district is aware that the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals granted a preliminary injunction temporarily blocking enforcement of the state budget proviso as to the plaintiff only during the pending of his appeal, said Katie Tanner, the school's chief strategy and engagement officer. We are awaiting a full decision from the court and will continue to evaluate and comply with our legal obligations while this case continues. Granted a preliminary injunction temporarily blocking enforcement of the state's budget proviso as to the plaintiff only during the pending of his appeal. The recent ruling granting the teen temporary bathroom access is not expected to result in other changes in South Carolina schools, at least in the short term. The teen's lawsuit against school officials is still waiting to be considered by the full appeals court, and the case may eventually be appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court. In 2021, however, the Supreme Court declined to hear a similar case from Virginia in which an appeals court judge ruled against a school district that had prevented a transgender student from using the restroom that aligned with his identity, finding it had violated Title IX of the Education Amendment of 1972. State education officials believe the law is on their side. The South Carolina Department of Education issued a statement. This injunction from the Fourth Circuit applies only to one individual. All other South Carolina schools remain bound by current law, except, according to what they're saying, it's not a law. It's a budget proviso. We expect the U.S. Supreme Court to settle this question once and for all next year. The department is currently working with Attorney General's office to weigh available legal options and determine next steps. State Superintendent Education Ellen Weaver also weighed in to defend South Carolina's bathroom policy that remains in effect for every other South Carolina student. I don't understand how, when they have done this, that you can say just this one student is allowed to use the bathroom of their gender choice. And even though it's not a law, it's a budget proviso. South Carolina is saying that it is like it is a law, but it is not. It is a budget proviso. So I think South Carolina is going to have a lot of problem. It says every student should be treated with kindness and respect, Weaver said in the statement provided by her office. South Carolina's common sense policy is grounded in objective biological reality and protects the privacy and safety of all students, especially our vulnerable young women. I will never stop fighting to defend their rights and dignity. Wow. What a loophole, South Carolina legislature. Why didn't you get it approved as a law? After all, we have girls only in sports. We have a lot of other things. Why would this be left as a budget proviso instead of finishing the job and making sure that this didn't become a subject? And it will become a subject across this state. It will not stop with this one student. I mean, I would be shocked if only one student in the whole state had this. But as long as this is made known that it is a budget proviso instead of a law, I think South Carolina is going to have a hard time defending it. This month, Mace has made a bathroom bill to focus of her newly announced campaign to become South Carolina's next Republican governor. At least twice at campaign events, she has mentioned a bathroom bill and then immediately described her efforts to ensure child rapists receive the death penalty for their crimes. Well, I think that's a little extreme right here when we're talking about children and whether they should use the right restrooms or not. But I do think that this is a fault of the South Carolina legislature to have not gone back. They did this in 2024. Why didn't in 2025 didn't they finish it up? I could understand it being a budget proviso. Maybe they were out of time. They saw they needed to do this. I can go with all that. But why didn't they in 2025 when they came back in January? Why didn't they resolve this issue? That is what I would like. That's what I would like to know. So if you have any opinions on it, 864-229-7984. I would love, love to hear your opinion on it. I think it is ridiculous that this was just a proviso and not made into a law. To me, it seems like it could have been a very simple law, and with a Republican supermajority as our South Carolina House and Senate has. Why wasn't it done? All right, I just got the answer on the car wash for our law enforcement. Doing it today. It stopped raining and we're washing cars. That's what just heard from John Cooper. So if you are a law enforcement first responder in that group of great people, you can go and get your personal car. You can also get your work vehicle cleaned. All you need to do is present an ID and they will clean it for you, do a great job at no charge to you. So please take that as a thank you. And as he said, it stopped raining over there. It may have stopped raining outside here. I don't know. But they are washing cars and they are washing law enforcement. It's Law Enforcement Appreciation Day at Frank's Car Wash. So go by there and check that out. Get your car washed. There's nothing like a clean car. And I tell you what, I really appreciate the fact that John Cooper has Law Enforcement Appreciation Day every year to make our law enforcement know how much they appreciate what they do. Well, that is going to finish it up for today. I would love to get your opinions. By the way, big announcement. We actually have gotten a new number that I will be unveiling in the next few days that you can be part of the conversation through just making a telephone call. You can leave a message, and sometimes I can even put your voice right there on the radio from your message. So this is something pretty cool, that a new service that I've just gotten. It will transcribe your voicemail to a text to me, and or we have the ability to actually put you live. Well, not live. It would be recorded. Kind of like what Clay and Buck are doing with their talkbacks. So I'm going to have talkbacks right here on WCRS Radio. Clay and Buck, you ain't got nothing on A&Ler. That's right. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I have just figured this out, and it's going to be pretty darn cool. So we'll be unveiling that in the next week, 10 days. Yes, we will change our text number here. We've got, you can text, you can call and leave a message, and potentially we can put you live, well, pre-recorded on the air. So how about that? That is pretty darn cool, Ann. All right, I'm Ann Eller. This is WCRS Radio. Anything else we need to talk about today? as I've said, and I said yesterday afternoon, if you'd like to know what's going on, go back yesterday afternoon show. You can watch it. I'm pretty sure he's already put it up on the website, WCRS1450am.net, or you can watch it on Facebook. We talked about a lot of upcoming events this weekend, from the boat cruise in for Burton Center to the Princess Tea Party. We had all kinds of good things that we were talking about yesterday. Let's see, somebody just sent me a message. Interesting. Wow. Well, there's some interesting information out there we'll have to discuss. Piedmont Tech and Greenwood County are live streaming their kickoff event for the 2024 Capital Project Sales Tax on their official Facebook pages. So evidently there's some questions about the legality of it, but they've got it going on right now. So if you'd like to tune in and watch it, you certainly can. Hey, you know what? I'm Ann Eller. I feel better than I felt when I got up this morning. That's why I come on the radio every day, because it keeps me going. Was there anything else I really wanted to make sure you all knew about here today? I'm really excited about this new telephone number being able to put this out there, so you'll have a way to communicate easily. You won't have to text. You can just make a telephone call. It'll turn into a message, but it also will give me the ability to put your comment right here on the air, recorded but already on the air, which is pretty darn cool. So that's going to do it for me. This afternoon we do have a very special guest. Rosemary Bell will be here talking about Music for Ministry. It is their huge fundraiser. We're going to be talking all about that this afternoon. Undoubtedly, if you follow things, it's been in the Index Journal. She's been everywhere promoting it, and she's going to be right here this afternoon to make sure that our listeners and watchers, that will be Facebook Live, will be able to see the complete, unadulterated interview right here on WCRS. By the way, next week we have an exciting week on the radio. Monday, we are going to be in Anderson for Sherry Biggs' Salute to Liberty. You can get tickets for that. You can go to Sherry Biggs' website, or I think if you put in Salute to Liberty, I'm pretty sure that event comes up and you can get tickets. Tickets are $30, and they are just $1 for veterans, first responders, etc., active duty military, to go to that event. That will be at doors open at 5:30. Event starts at 6:30. It's really going to be a nice event. Tuesday, we are going to have Dr. Baker here, who works with Clemson Extension. She's going to be showing us a knife demonstration on what knives you're supposed to use. I don't think she's selling knives, but, I think she's going to be showing us how to use them. We will be, of course, Facebook Living that and talking about some of the other events and whatnot coming up. So that's a good one. We also have Jay Hancock, the chef over there at the G. Frank Russell Center. He also does things out at Piedmont Tech, and I am sincerely looking forward to sitting down and talking to him about what's going on. Wednesday is a surprise guest at this moment, so you just have to stay tuned. But Tuesday and Thursday, it's not going to be all about working in the kitchen. So it's exciting times right here on WCRS. Next Friday, the 22nd, is football season kickoff for Emerald. We're carrying all the games for Emerald, so on Friday night, you can just tune us in, whether you tune us in on the radio or whether you tune us in on the stream, WCRS1450am.net. That, my friends, is going to do it for me. Have a great day and try to stay dry. 90% chance of rain, but They are washing cars. They say that the rain has stopped over there at Frank's Car Wash. They are washing cars for our first responders and law enforcement. Get out there and get a clean, clean car. That'll do it for me. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great day. Take it away.